There we go. And hello, everyone. We are back. Um, with another warm up. Um, I'm your host, Shellback TJC, with my frequent co-host, Free Speech Gaming.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, he's on camera because he's got a shirt on.
Oh, I forgot I was on camera. Well, yeah, I'm on camera. I even waved to the camera and everything. I should have. Yeah. I'm not exactly well dressed or anything. This isn't even a proper sleeveless shirt. It's the sleeves were falling off, and I just one day ripped them off.
I do that. Do the the redneck sleeveless shirt treatment. Yeah.
Well, we're normally not on camera here, and that's kind of what I was planning for. I was like, screw it, I'll put on my comfy old worn out shirt that it fits me just right now because I've it has formed to my fat over the years.
Yeah. Mercy. Excuse me while I have a coughing fit.
Oh, while you're hacking your lungs out, I'll say what's up to Nerdscape. How's it going? Hanging out in the chat. Good to see you. Yes, you're right, Nerdscape. The ladies do love this look. This is not a dab, by the way. This is the Atlas. Dabs are gay. Do the Atlas. Yeah. So I believe we're going to be getting into a handful of topics here tonight. Not sure where Shellbacks wanted to start. I believe we're gonna kick it off with some monkeypox. Talk about how that's been spreading around in certain communities. And one article I even read, I want to say it was New York Times. They were even like, "Look, we're trying to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, and they know how to protect themselves, but we also don't want to stigmatize any communities that have been used as scapegoats in the past." Oh, we got a shell back on camera. I wasn't meaning to pressure you or nothing, but
well, I mean, if you're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Look, I put on my shirt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm not gonna pan down any further than that because I'm not wearing pants.
Yeah, I got my my comfy shorts on today. Picked them up from Ollie's for a bargain.
Those of you who don't know, pants are not required for this program, so
that's good. I've been ahead of the curve then.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean I usually the reason I'm usually not on camera is because I'm I can do things like this without people having to watch it. Although I mean I'm not that's
I mean, yeah, I'm constantly bringing the teacup up to my face.
But no, I'm I've been ever since the laptop got stolen at the end of last year. I've been using the phone to do this. So, and StreamYard and all that stuff. I don't know if it's absolute certainty, but it seems like it's more of a drag on the phone, when you're on camera like this. So that's usually why I'm just like this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it is. Anytime I've streamed from the phone, it gets choppy. It does not work. I also kind of have a shit internet connection here. It just sometimes will This computer, it does well, but for some reason, the computer that's next to the fucking modem, that thing goes down constantly. It's also a cheap, like, I think I spent $200 on it. It was a refurbished computer. So somebody else owned it and probably downloaded a bunch of weird porn on it and then sold it to a computer repair shop.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Which the phone that the phone that this one replaced was actually also in the car when it got burglarized. And so but it was broken, the from time to time, I get irritated, and so anyway, I was on. Here's the story. I was on Twitter, right, at the time, trying to do something, and it wasn't acting right, and so I'm sitting here, like right in front of my desk, like I am now, and so anyway, it was frustrating me, and I just kind of like, kind of like threw it down onto the desk, and it had some cracks in the screen and stuff from previously being dropped and whatnot. But anyway, that last little toss just kind of did it. And then so the screen's up. Remember back in the day? Remember back in the day, when you had cable or whatever, but you didn't have Skinamax or whatever, because your parents didn't want to pay for it. So you're sitting there trying to watch watch Skinamax through the and it's all like
you get the jumpy
and
it's got the white bars that are running down.
But that's how the screen on the phone was. So and like the touch the touch feature or whatever, it wouldn't work, like it would not work at all.
Oh man.
It was basically useless from that point on. But I still had an SD card with a bunch of excuse me, with a bunch of pictures on it. And so I just had that sitting in or laying in the console, the center console of the car. But anyway, the bastard stole it too, along with the laptop that was in my I called it my Durka bag. It was a backpack that I bought in Saudi Arabia. My first trip out of the country, courtesy of the U.S. Navy. And that was back in 1997.
Okay.
So not only was it a couple of decades old, but basically it's one of those.
It's kind of a beater bag by that point in time.
One of those memoir. Memorabilia, whatever I'm trying to say.
I know it's sentimental.
Yeah, sentimental value. But anyway, something that's irreplaceable. I doubt if I'll ever step foot in the country of Saudi Arabia again. And have a because I was on an Air Force base, and it was a traveling bazaar. So they came by the base, and I freaking gave this Saudi lady $20, and I mean that was
for a bag that would have been like 80 in the States.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best purchases I ever made in my life. Especially since I had it for, like I said, over 2 decades.
Yeah,
I mean that's like $1 per year. But anyway,
that's one heck of a bag. Yeah,
but and one of the zippers was busted, and
Mhm.
it was like starting to fray and stuff. But hell, after 20 years, what do you expect?
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, the bastards stole a broke ass phone. You know,
Yeah. The
um,
thieves don't pay attention. They
but
just see phone and it gets slid into a pocket
yeah,
or thrown. It
but I
probably
mean,
got thrown into the bag and then they took
yeah,
all of it.
but this was in the parking lot of where I work. Um,
Oh.
one of the major home improvement stores.
Mhm.
Um, but anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, they freaking they stole the backpack, which contained the laptop
Mhm.
and like a notebook and some freaking mail and
Man.
other stuff, and they stole the busted ass phone.
Mm.
They popped the trunk and stole a tool set and like
Man.
and my little scissor jack and a
They
couple
took
other
the
things.
scissor jack? What the hell? Like, where do you get to scrap it for a nickel? The hell? Like,
I don't know, but
like what fucking pawn shop is buying a scissor jack?
yeah, I don't know, but so which I need to get another. I got like a floor jack,
Oh yeah,
one of
yeah.
the ones that on
Yep.
wheels or whatever. I got that, but that sucker's kind of heavy to
You're
just
not hauling that
constantly
around.
transport in the car.
I
So I,
got
I I do need to get another scissor jack, for it.
okay,
But
get what I got because it's actually super nice. It's great to have. It's better than the scissor jack. It's just a smaller version of the hydraulic jack. So you can actually like just throw it in the trunk of the car. It won't fit in the wheel well with everything else, but I mean the
right,
thing's like it
I'm not worried
maybe a
about
foot and a
that.
half long, and I mean it's a couple inches tall, but it actually will lift the car up at least enough to change a tire. I wouldn't recommend getting underneath the car, but you shouldn't get under a car in a scissor
Yeah.
jack anyway.
Well, the one that I bought is probably, I don't know, a couple feet long, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it's not
Is it
too
the
heavy,
wide
but at
one?
the same time, I don't remember.
Okay, yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna turn the camera off so I don't flash my bloomers. Hold on.
Oh, I gotcha.
Uh,
Well, while he's grabbing that, I'm gonna say hi to some people in the chat. We had Trina, Lasso of Truth. Thanks for coming by, Trina. Glad to see you out here. And also Phil TMNT. Wanted to thank you, Phil, for coming in on the Friday show with myself and Megan and chatting a bunch. That was super awesome. I was actually really happy about that show, especially that being like our first. And yeah, like all of you guys were popping off in the chat there. It was awesome. Thank you.
uh,
Okay,
Here it
it's
is.
probably a bit bigger than the one that I got. I mean,
Yeah,
depends on the size of your trunk. That's a
yeah,
bit big.
yeah, it is. So, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any little miniature ones like you're talking about, but I may have to. I
I
may
got
have
it at like
to
Walmart.
look.
It was like $20 at Walmart.
Hmm.
What I need to get,
Well,
and this thing actually saved my ass one time, and I need to put another one in my car because they're great to have. It's the portable air compressors to fill up your tires, and just plug it into the cigarette lighter, and bam, you
right?
got an air
Yeah, yeah.
compressor. Dude, that thing saved my ass one time. At least one time, once or twice. I mean, I have an air compressor at work, so I can just like pull around at the side and check the pressure and fill the tires up. I do that like once a month. But when you're
Yeah.
on the road and your tires flat,
Right.
there's nothing you can do. Hope there's a
Mhm.
gas station nearby that actually has a working air compressor.
Yeah, I mean that's something that I, I'd like to get. I've been meaning to get, is is one of those.
Hmm.
I want to
Yeah.
get I want to get one of the slightly bigger ones though, so it doesn't take like 15 minutes to blow up one tire.
It does take forever. Yeah, yeah. I've seen they do sell like small pot. I think they're called pot compressors. You know, the short squat ones. Uh, but even those things are like $75. You know,
Yeah,
it's.
yeah,
But also, I have like like I said, I can use the actual air compressor at work. It's like a friggin' 55-gallon tank size that runs 155 psi.
yeah.
So I could use that to fill up my tires. So the other one's just for like emergency sake. It does take forever, but it's better than nothing.
Right. But yeah. Anywho,
Yeah, we got off on a tear there, man.
oh. So yeah, I I was on the twatter, and that's where I found the subjects for the day. Um, whether or not we get to them all, I don't know. But yeah, I uh, found something about the WHO, aka World Health Organization, and the monkeypox, and then I found something about about this gal named Reality Winter. I want to say Winter. Reality Winter. And I shit you not, people, that is her name. Reality Winter.
That's her real name too. That's not
Yeah,
like something she changed it to. Like her
yeah,
parents named her that.
yeah. And so I mean, which I don't know. I think it's kind of you know I think I don't, which I've never met a winner.
Mm,
um, but I guess it's kind of kind of cool to have the last name of Winner.
I
Um,
mean, that's not bad. I know my
I mean,
mom went to school with a
unless you're
couple of
just like
people.
absolutely, unless you're just absolutely unlucky, and you never win,
Yeah.
it'd be kind of ironic or whatever.
Yeah, I
But
know my mom went to school with a couple of strange ones. There was a Candy Mints and her brother Pepper. Uh, yeah, not even kidding. Their parents named their kids Candy Mints and Peppermints. Uh, oh, I went
and
to school with a couple of bad ones too. Areola. I went to school with a girl literally named Ariel. Oh, I almost caught you drinking there. That was a second off. Yeah. Yep, that literally was her first name.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It could be worse than Reality Winner. Is what
yeah.
I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. I never went to school with any like really weird named people, but my mother, she used to enjoy telling me about how she, you know, during her school years, she knew someone named Holopeter,
Okay.
and she also knew somebody named Glasscock.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
But those are some candidates for the Dix division, don't you think?
Yes, yes, they are. Oh man, I got a candidate, and these are all right. I don't want to like dox anyone, so I'll use a couple of fake names, but it's actually it's a family nickname. I have a cousin whose nickname is Buster, and for the longest time, the joke was, you know, they would call him Buster Hyman, and then another cousin of mine marries a guy whose last name is Hyman, and I'm just like, oh, you should totally, if you have a kid, you got to name him Buster. It's a family name.
Oh.
Oh,
Uh, uh,
do you want to, before we hop into everything, Pinochet's Helicopter Tours, great name still,
oh,
threw a
shit.
pretty good comment up in the chat. It's so anyone else feel the pot is boiling over right now? For example, I have a nervous feeling I used to get back when I was in the army, if you catch my drift. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
Dude, I love the freaking new avatar or icon, whatever you
Oh
want to
yeah,
call it.
that's awesome.
Which, um, you know, and I've ever since I saw this name, I've been curious. You know, is there like a toll free number, you know, to make reservations for
You
one of
know,
these tours or what? You know,
yeah.
I
You
mean,
call them up and be like, "Hey,
and,
I know some
and
people.
I
Here's the
mean, and like
location of the commune."
right, and like you know, like how are your rates? You know, are they
Yeah,
you know, are they decent? You know, are you affordable? You know, I, people want to know. You know, namely me. But anyway,
charged by the 100 yards of how far they're having to drop.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like how long do you want these
Oh,
people to really like
yeah.
experience the real trip of the helicopter tour?
Oh, oh, so is that what it is? It's like base jumping or something.
It's yeah, it's base jumping without parachutes for communists.
Uh, oh, okay. Oh, wait a minute. It's a communist thing. You got to be a
uh,
communist.
no. You make the reservation for a communist.
Oh, well, I don't know any.
Okay, well, yeah, you're good then. You don't have to make any reservations. He's saying he's currently booked solid with politicians and feds. Anyway,
Ah, okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, I mean, I'm willing to wait, so it's
yeah.
cool. Um, so
Uh,
anyway, now that we've killed almost a half an hour,
oh yeah, we have. Damn.
yeah, and and you know we're uh, we're supposed to wrap up, you know, uh, before freaking comics division comes on, so people can migrate over there. Um, so yeah, we might get the monkeypox out of the way, but we might have to revisit those other subjects though, because you know
hmm
I'm thinking that they'll still be, you know, a timely subject, you know,
hmm
in the weeks to come anyway. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, apparently one of the things that's trending on Twitter and other social media, I'm sure, is the monkeypox and the WHO. You know, is like uh, trying to tell us that you know we need to you know we need to beware. You know, so I don't know. Like I said, you know I saw the you know I saw the subject, but I haven't really been able to read up on it a whole lot. Have you?
I've read up a little bit on not the WHO coming out with stuff. I do have an article I just shared here. Didn't know if you wanted to pull that up.
No.
But yeah, I haven't read up on what the WHO is saying about it. I have read up on how it's sort of spreading around in the predominantly in gay communities, particularly with gay men. They're also saying like gay and bisexual, but we know that just means they're talking about gay men. Probably because men are typically more physical creatures, and I'm having multiple partners is probably
Mm,
it's men. Like if men had the option of being able to fuck all of the women they want and not destroy the relationships in their lives, most of them probably would. So when they can get away with that, because it's other dudes and they're all like, "Oh yeah, it's cool, you were fucking Brad," I don't blame them. But you have to have like prolonged skin on skin contact, and so that's why they're saying it's happening a lot in the gay communities. And apparently, it's like really spreading
yeah.
there.
I
Uh,
mean, but do you really think it is, or is it just another freaking you know like back in the 80s, you know, like 70s, 80s, whatever, with you know,
with
with
the
with
AIDS.
AIDS, you know,
Yeah.
and them, you know, them saying, you know, initially, you know, they were saying you know, yeah, a freaking, you know, a gay guy goes into a public restroom and sits down on the toilet. You wouldn't want to sit down on that same toilet after him because
Hmm.
you might get the AIDS.
And you got to
You know,
like wash all of your groceries because a gay guy might have walked past him or something. I'll say with this, they're the mainstream media, and man, that was crazy. And that was Fauci back in the day saying all that shit. Yeah, like people were wiping down
right?
their
Yeah,
vegetables because of AIDS. I mean, you should wash your vegetables anyway, but you don't need to like sanitize them. You need to get the dirt off of them. But yeah,
yeah, just
they've
like
been a bit better
water. And,
this. Yeah, but I'll say overall the press has been much better about it now. I think it's also, you know, the predominantly the press has changed a lot over the years. They're much more liberal now. In fact, they're to the point where I think some of them are actually a little bit apprehensive about even putting the news out there fully. To my surprise, actually, some of them were pretty open about it. CNN just straight up said like, here's why it's spreading through the gay community. But then you go to
Mhm.
like New York Times and they're like, oh, we want to be careful about stigmatizing anybody who's been used as a scapegoat in the past. And it's like, okay, yeah, that did happen with AIDS, but that happened in like the 80s. You know, by the time the 90s rolled around, we knew how it actually worked. Um,
Well, the thing is though, with the, you know, the mainstream media, I mean, I for one, uh, you know, take anything they say with a grain of salt because, you know, there. I mean, it's been, you know, it's been proven, you know, by other entities like Project Veritas, for instance,
mm,
um, that, you know, like CNN and MSNBC, and, you know, you name it, are basically just propaganda machines anymore. You know, they're not really
yeah,
news networks. Um, and
I,
you know, even Fox News is you know, come under scrutiny. You know, um, but which, you know, to me, you know, I mean, I don't really watch. I don't really watch quote unquote Fox News. You know, like
mhm,
I'll watch Tucker. You know, I like Tucker, and you know, that Ingram lady.
Laura Ingram, yeah.
Yeah, she seems okay.
Hmm.
And like what's the out? Is it Outnumbered? And then
I don't even know.
the Gutfield. You
Hmm.
know, Gutfield. The Gutfield show is like hilarious. You know,
Hmm.
um, but you know, I'll watch some of their programs, but like as far as, you know, just, you know, the the news, you know, just, you know, being traditionally presented, you know, uh, I don't really watch them for that.
Hmm.
But you know, and you know, like I said, I don't know,
Like how
you
much
know,
of this is fear mongering?
Tucker, you know, like Tucker is definitely, you know, well, him and Ingram, you know, they're kind of, you know, opinion
Hmm.
piece or
Yeah.
whatever. You know, it's not just straight up reporting the news. You know, they you know, they give their, you know, they give their takes on things and stuff. But yeah, I'm you know, I'm more likely to believe something that Tucker Carlson tells me as I am, say, Brian Stelter, for
Hmm.
instance. You
Yeah,
know,
it's like definitely to give Tucker credit. When he gives you an opinion, you can tell it's his opinion. It's his opinion. Brian Stelter makes statements of fact and then claims their opinion. I'm not saying what he's saying is true. I'm saying he presents it as a statement of fact, but it's just propaganda, which I can definitely see there's a huge potential for propaganda with this monkeypox. Like, are they trying to scare people back into their homes again for another 2 years with this because they know that people have already given up on giving a shit about the coof? I think there is a good amount of that. That's why they're talking about it.
Right.
I will say
Well,
the gay story on this is coming out of a specific multi-country study that came out. So it's not like they're making up all of the facts about it. Just some of them. Probably about half to three quarters of it are just their opinion presented as fact.
yeah. Um. Yeah. I don't know. I just. Uh. I don't know. I just. I just think that it's just another the sky is falling type of thing. You know.
Hmm.
But and what you brought up the coup for whatever. Um. The 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 great state of Washington, in which I reside currently, um, we don't, we're not mandated anymore, but they still, they still put up, I get warnings or whatever, if you will, you
Yeah,
know.
like health advisories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wait, do you
and
get it like on your phone, like a tornado warning or something?
no, I
Okay.
haven't been, not like an Amber Alert or something. No, I
Yeah,
really haven't
yeah.
did that, but
Okay, that would be.
all I got to do though is like say get on Twitter or something like that,
Mm,
and and go do the hit the little search button, and maybe scroll down just a little bit, and there'll be like a little banner with the with the latest the latest and greatest news on COVID-19 health or whatever.
mhm.
But yeah, there's still people there's still people up here that are they're putting the face dapper on because the health advisory says that a few more cases have been reported or whatnot.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's anyway. I'm kind of waiting, uh, for another mandate to come down the pike, because
Mhm.
once they've done it and been successful in doing it, there's that greater potential of them doing it again, you know.
Yup.
Um, and yeah, I don't know. I barely, I barely did the, did it, when it was mandated.
Mhm.
Um, and which like I had to at work, that
Yeah.
I either freaking had to put the freaking mask on, or I couldn't make a paycheck. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know. This right here just kind of reminds me of that type of stuff, and so I'm half expecting for um a mandate of some sort to come down the pike in relation to monkeypox.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. And certainly with like what this article is saying, even if we're just looking at the headline right now, World Health Organization chief says monkeypox is now a global emergency. That it definitely seems like they're trying to do the same thing they did before, but with monkeypox. I think they're I don't, at least I hope it's not going to work as well for at least the majority of people. I'm sure there's still places where people just take things for at face value. Probably more likely to happen in any place where there's a large amount of people who think that socialism is still a good idea. You can get those people to believe anything. Salesmen should flock to places where people believe socialism is a good idea. You can sell
Right.
them anything. But yeah, I don't think it's going to work as well for a multitude of reasons. One, the a lot of people are just tired with all of the shit that happened. They gave up on fucking on the COVID, which most people have stopped caring. It's at the point in time where it's like, I just got to move on with my life. I can't deal with all of the crap they're trying to get me to do anymore. Two, this isn't a brand new, disease like COVID was. Can't remember the word I was looking for there. Novel. This isn't a novel virus.
Well, it's
like
been around,
like 50
originally.
something years.
Originally, when I did, when I researched it or whatever, like the first, it originated like back in the 50s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the first human case of it was like a decade or two later, I
I think it
think.
was 70s, like late 70s.
Yeah. But so yeah, like you said, it's not new, but at the same time, it was such a uh, it was such a minute thing or whatever that I don't ever remember hearing about it until these this last year or whatever. So I mean, it's I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, why is it a problem now? And it it hasn't been a problem since the 50s or the 70s. Why is it a problem now?
Yeah, it's kind of the, why weren't we locking down during, I mean, we can run it back over the, past 20 years even. Why weren't we locking down during Zika virus or SARS or swine flu or any of those? And
Ebola.
Ebola, which, I mean, that would be awful to get. The death rate on Ebola is fucking horrible. Even in, first world America where we have hospitals, like, it's still not good. Like, you're rolling the dice.
That's the thing. That's the thing too. A lot of these, and not to sidetrack onto the coof, but a lot of these things had a much higher mortality rate than the coof did. And but and like I said, it seems like they're trying to sell monkeypox just like they were trying to sell the coof.
It's a lot of the same wording, and I don't think it's going to work the way they want it to. I think there's going to be people who just buy into it and they're going to freak out and they're going to run out and get I remember vaguely hearing, I don't know how true it is, that there's a vaccine for it and they're going to run out and probably get that. But it's, at this point in time, a lot of people are just done with it. And I honestly think that the government's response to, the coof is going to have basically the opposite effect of what should happen if there ever is an actual like global bioweapon emergency and they do have to start, just doing whatever they can for shit to keep moving, for people to stay alive. A lot of people aren't going to fucking believe them now. The government's becoming the boy who cried wolf, and they've been doing this shit with, not to get off on another subject, but they've been doing it with climate emergencies for the longest time. Think back for the past 50 years. 10 years the world's going to end. For in the 70s we were going to have an ice age. In the 80s, the ozone was going to be depleted so much that we were all going to have cancer by the 90s. And the 90s, the water levels were going to raise to the point that that we were all, that the entire East Coast was going to be underwater. In the 2000s, it was, we have to worry about the ice caps melting. And now we are, and it's, they don't even have a reason anymore. They're just like, it's the cows farting. We have too many cows.
That's why they had to change the name. That's why they had to change the name from global warming to climate change. Because they're like, oh yeah, the polar ice caps are melting, and then come to find out, some years later, the freaking ice caps were actually increasing in size.
Yep. It's I think it all comes down to the hubris of man. We all think that we have this huge impact on the world, and there are things we can do that could have lasting effects on the world, but even if we set off every single nuke, it's not like we're going to be able to completely destroy the planet. Life, Jurassic Park, life finds a way. It's
Right.
there's a certain truth in that.
Yeah. Which, speaking of truth, yeah, lasso of truth is correct. I
Hmm.
do believe in saying it's a problem now because they're weaponizing viruses in biolabs.
I thought Russia
Yeah.
destroyed all of those.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the boogeyman, the boogeyman is back. Russia, Russia, Russia. Yeah.
Hmm.
When, in my humble opinion, we should be thinking about the uh, the other big country to the east. You know,
Yeah.
but uh, we're not. At least this administration, isn't going to do a GD thing about China. Um,
China. China.
because in my humble opinion, uh, there's too many things. There's too many products on the store shelves with a tag that says "Made in China."
Hmm.
So there's a bunch of people that don't want us to be in conflict with China because, then we won't, be able to have things made, cheaply by people who are probably too young to work.
Hmm.
Uh, so.
Yep.
But
Yep.
but
And
but but yet Russia is the bad guy.
I mean,
Um,
I don't think either of them are great, but if we're gonna look at which one is actually causing serious detrimental harm to us here on the home front, it would be China by selling us a bunch of lead-lined cheap shit that we buy up for, dollars on the pennies it costs them to fucking make it. We're the ones getting screwed here in the long run because we completely stopped our manufacturing. What do we even manufacture anymore? It's food. That's
yeah.
our only export we really have
Well,
in this country. Food
there's
and lawyers.
yeah.
That's what we export.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I work at a major home improvement store, for one of those companies, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I unbox and I put on the shelf, that with the tag that says "Made in China." Um, there are a few things. That are like, made here, but yeah, not very many. I'd say a good 90% of the stuff is made somewhere else, and out of that percentage, I'd say at least a good 70, at least a good 70 or 80% out of that 90%, has "Made in China" freaking stamped on it somewhere.
Hmm.
Um, it's funny because, um, just tell you how I feel about it. Um, like, there are, me being not a wealthy person. I buy what I can afford. And a lot of the time, that'd be something. Uh, that very well may be something made in China. Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
can't avoid it.
I'm gonna pop this off.
Okay, yeah,
For,
we've kind of gone off the
um,
rails anyway.
so like you said, it's almost like trying to boycott Disney.
Hmm.
You can't. It's almost impossible to totally boycott Disney because they have their tentacles in so many things that it's like, you know I'm going to buy this right here, and come to find out the parent company is the Walt Disney Company.
Hmm.
um but yeah, it's a lot of us buy stuff made from there because it's what we can afford, and it's either It's either do that or go without, or I mean, granted, you can save you can save up your pennies and and do your best to buy something from here, but you know some sometimes it happens to be more expensive
Mm-hmm.
that it's made here, because with the powers that be have, like, raised the cost of living and stuff, to where freaking mofos got to be paid 15 and 20 bucks an hour, at a manufacturing job, just in order to survive, and the corporate, the corporate types, just they just pass the savings on to the consumer, as it were, and so they they can they can still make the profit that they want,
Mm-hmm.
you know um so it's, I don't know, which that's one of them things. I'm like, it.
It a lot of it also comes down to regulation. As someone who works within a lot of those industries and does like parts acquisitions and the like, um, there a lot of it also comes down to regulations. We have to deal with OSHA, which means there's just more shit you have to have available to the individual person, and trying to compensate people enough to where their taxes don't completely rake them over the coals and they can still make a living and
Well, see,
do
that's
all that.
that's the thing. That's the thing that for me is taxes, right? I
Mm-hmm.
I am, like, totally on board with giving uh, the manufacturers um, tax breaks,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in order for them to manufacture stuff here.
Yeah,
You know,
like even
give,
grants or
give,
yeah.
give them, yeah, give them whatever tax breaks they would like, okay, in order for them to be able to afford to pay their employees decently,
Mm-hmm.
and also allow them to make a decent amount of profit for the company, right?
Mm-hmm.
but but no, they want to, they want to freaking tax the shit out of them, which in turn causes them to go overseas, where they can pay, some little, you know, pay some Chinese kid, $1 a month, and to freaking turn out, 50,000 units of whatever, you know. It's
I will say it's the stuff that we're getting from China. It's one of those things, like there's stuff we could still be making here that you would never see on store shelves that would be, still be really good for our economy. Like the stuff I deal with, hydraulic parts. Um, like I've even had to get like the domestic price on items from people, and it's usually I'd say anywhere from like 10 to 20% more expensive to buy a domestic part. So all of the shit that we keep is either made in Mexico or Turkey, because just we have to stay competitive. We'd essentially go out of business and to one of our competitors in the area if we told everyone, prices are going up all around. It's one thing to go up just because inflation has gone up and our cost has gone up, but then having to tell everyone, oh yeah, there's basically a 20% duty fee so that we can have everything made in America. Even with we have a pretty patriotic customer base where I work, and even then, a lot of people would still take the cheaper price, and sometimes you need to just to keep your business running. These are a lot of shade tree workers. These are a lot of guys with a work truck that it's them and one other guy driving around.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unfortunate how a lot of it works, and it wasn't bad when we were manufacturing enough stuff in this country to be able to export it, which means we had a
Yeah.
net gross of the item, so we could sell it cheaply here in America and then
Mm,
export it for whatever we wanted. Japan basically does that. They'll sell their stuff, and they
yeah.
actually do a bit of the opposite of it. It's kind of weird how it works with Japan, because they'll sell their stuff over here like at a loss, essentially, just to get the name out there. And then in Japan, it's super expensive, and it's kind of weird how it works. I've had it explained to me. But yeah,
Well,
they're very tricky. Also, they do it so that they can keep other people from being able to sell in Japan.
here's the crap. I just kind of brain farted.
Oops.
um. Oh yeah, that's what I was that's what I was gonna say. Um. You know, we do need, really should, try to bring manufacturing, back, within our own borders, because, hey, they're letting a lot of potential manufacturing employees, they're letting them, cross the southern border like, like nothing,
Mhm.
these days. So, it's like, all these people that are just kind of moseying on over the border, uh, they're prime subjects, for manufacturing jobs. You know.
And that's kind of why, like back in the 40s, 50s, and really into the 60s, we were letting a lot of immigrants come in. You talk about like the Italian immigrants and the Irish immigrants before them, and you had German immigrants even before them. It was because we had a lot of manufacturing all over this country. Even after the Industrial Revolution, we were making more processes efficient, and we had just more and more jobs that were going up. I mean, there's ghost towns all over the United States of places that used to be tied to like a single factory. You'd
Mhm.
build a factory and then people would start flooding to it, and then houses would start being built around it, and it would build up its own nice little small economy. And it would all be surrounded by this, they're making steel beams. All they're doing all day is making steel I beams at like 5, 10, and 20 foot. And
Mhm.
you'd have whole communities surrounded by this. And at the time we were actually needing more people in the country, and so that's why we had a very open immigration policies.
Well,
But now that we've
my
stopped
hometown.
manufacturing, what's up?
I was gonna say my hometown. In Missouri. Freaking rural southeast Missouri. There were the three biggest employers were farmers,
Mm-hmm.
the power company, the power plant,
Yep.
and the aluminum plant. We had
Mm-hmm.
an aluminum plant nearby.
That's
So
basically the city where I work. It's
yeah,
chips. They take trees from there's forestry divisions around the city. They cut down the trees, bring them over there. They chop them up into chips, and then they make them into paper and boxes and stuff. That's the main industry in the town where I work.
yeah, yeah. We had, well, uh, we had a paper mill
They
across the
smell
river
awful.
in Kentucky,
Hmm.
um, which it's uh, Wickliffe was the name of the town, Wickliffe,
Hmm.
Kentucky, and we used to call it, like, Stinkliff and all this stuff, because freaking like paper mills and stuff. Oh God,
Hmm.
they
You
they
smell it.
they stink.
Oh yeah,
And
when I was living
but
outside of
when that
DC.
when that
Oh
wind,
yeah.
when
Uh-huh.
you get that, when you get that breeze from the east, it would freaking just bring that smell right across the river.
I've got a
Like,
great story for you on this. There's a ceiling tile factory in the town too, because it's made of paper byproduct also. And as you're driving into the town, like 5 minutes before you get into the town, if you're I from where I'm downwind of that, so I could smell it, and it straight up smells like doo doo. And when the first couple of months I was working there, my boss, who he's my father-in-law now, at the time I was just dating his daughter, his car had just, well, it hadn't broken down. My now wife crashed it. Uh, Bad situation. It wasn't a woman driving situation completely. I'll say it was she had to make a choice of like, do I take this blind turn or do I sit here forever? Kind of deal. Took a blind turn and somebody was doing like 70 and a 50 and hit her, and it was a fairly bad car accident, but I'll say Pathfinders, Nissan Pathfinders were pretty good for getting in car accidents with. That thing was all steel. Nonetheless, I digress. I'm driving him into work the first like 3-4 months I'm working there. Because he needed a ride. He was essentially on the way. It wasn't too bad for me, and he'd pay me gas money. So it worked out. But for the first couple of months until I realized that I was smelling the ceiling tile factory, I thought that his like digestive system was on a clock and he had to shit before he got into work. And he was like on the verge of shitting his pants every fucking morning, like 10 minutes before we get into work, just because the smell would come in. And it comes in, you could have the windows up, and you could have the fucking air off. It doesn't matter. That smell is getting into the car. So for months, I'm like, damn, is my boss just like shitting himself every morning at the same time? But no, ceiling tile factory.
Oh man, yeah. Well, okay. Well, Nerdscape. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Actually, thank everybody for tuning in. But it is a minute past the hour, and so I'm gonna say let's wrap it up, and so everybody y'all can migrate over to Comics Division's channel and watch the actual Yelling at Park Cars. We may have to we may just have to do a part 2 next week or something, where we actually talk a little bit more in depth about the subjects that we listed today.
Yeah.
But yeah, monkeypox. In my humble opinion, monkeypox is just the latest crock of shit, and don't get caught up in the hype. So
if you see someone actively covered in like pustules or have scabs, it shows as like a rash. They showed that one picture of the kid with like the big pock marks, but typically it just shows up as a rash. Just don't like hug them for a solid 60 seconds, right? Like it's
yeah. I mean, common sense, common sense would probably prevent you from hugging them, period. But anyway, it's just, it's not just don't live in fear of all this crap that they put out, because that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're doing. They're just trying to keep us scared of anything and everything. But yeah, just after we sign off here in a minute or two, if you've been watching Comics Division and the Yelling at Park Cars show, it's a good show. They're definitely a more professional outfit than this one.
You know what? I think we're having a good time. We're just having conversations, and I think
yeah,
the chat's
yeah,
it,
yeah. I don't know. I like to self-deprecate, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, if as usual, if you have anything to plug or anything to anything to any links to drop in the chat, please, sir, go ahead.
I do actually have a link to drop in the chat. So on Friday, this past Friday, as we had talked about on Monday, we had I showed the trailer for my new movie review show. That went pretty well with myself and Megan. Actually had Phil in the chat earlier. He was in the chat on movie review show. Had a good time. So people, if you want to come and join me and throw in the chat in right now for movie review show. Multitasking. There it is. You can join myself and Megan Lee of the Noob Reviews on Fridays at 8:30 Eastern. We're trying to time it toward like the later end of Friday Night Tights. We don't want to have too much crossover there, but we'll see how long it runs. This last one was like 2.5 hours. We just kept going with it because we were talking about Princess Bride. There's so much to talk about there. This week, I'm thinking it might be a similar situation. We're watching A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger and Alan Tudyk. I actually haven't seen that movie in years. It came out in like early 2000s. I remember enjoying it. I'm pretty sure I rented it from Blockbuster. Um, and I all I remember is it had like kick-ass jousting scenes, and they were playing
Yeah.
like 70s rock music, which I loved 70s
Yeah.
rock music. Like growing up, and even now, it was like, they're playing "We Will Rock
Yeah.
You" while jousting, which I was also big into because that was my home state's state sport is jousting. Maryland state sport for some fucking reason is jousting. But yeah, join us over there Fridays 8:30. Link is in the chat. Love to have you guys there. And that's for the channel. Please sub, because it's not on my main channel. It's on another channel. I rebranded my Lord of the Rings one. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of weird because I mean, even almost 250 years ago, when or whatever it's been, 200 and some odd years ago, when Maryland became a state, jousting was not a thing still, but
No, not really. No, it wasn't. Yeah, for some reason that's the state sport, which I mean is actually kind of kick ass when you think about it. Like, it's what's your
yeah,
state sport? Oh, it's like, oh, we like badminton. Like, okay, that's cool. We knock each other off of horses with sticks. Like, take that shit. But the state song was super gay. That's the trade off. Is we got the kick ass state sport. We had the super cool state flag, but our song is literally "Oh Maryland, My Maryland" to the tune of "Oh Christmas Tree." Yeah, it's the worst. It's just the worst.
Wow. Oh Maryland, oh Maryland.
That's literally the state song. Yeah, I don't remember the lyrics, but it's the worst. It's awful. And like now I moved to Georgia, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got Georgia on my mind." It's like, okay, you guys have Ray Charles. I get it. Your state song's
Georgia,
awesome. Yeah, great song.
Georgia.
Yeah, you got to do the.
Yeah. I used to carpool with him and Stevie Wonder. It was great.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Uh,
It's like that Eddie Murphy joke of
yeah.
like, I'm not impressed by the singing and piano playing, Stevie. Take the wheel and that'll impress me.
Yeah. 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 Stevie liked to drive for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, so yeah, everybody migrate on over to Comics Division's channel, and tell them the Turtle Man sent you. And I definitely, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Live free or
That that
die.
that I'm I don't care what state you're from, but that has to be the coolest state motto out of any of them.
Oh, and they live that shit to this day.
Yeah.
They still
Oh,
live that shit.
hold on, before we sign off, I have to show Trina something. Okay,
Oh.
hold on.
Uh-oh. He's taking his pants off. Yeah, New Hampshire's also awesome, Trina. That's where I spent most of my summers. I'd spend part of them in Wilmington, Mass, hanging out with my cousins, and then go to had a very, very small place on Lake Winnipesaukee. So yeah, I spent a good amount of summers there, kayaking, fishing, just hanging out in the town.
All
New
right.
Hampshire's great.
Yeah. So before I moved back out to Washington this last time, I was living in the great state of New Hampshire for about a year and a half prior. And which I haven't done it here yet, but anyway, I had purchased a car while I was there, and I decided I wanted to get personalized plates, and not only that, but veterans plates. So
Oh yeah, nice.
yeah,
Oh,
but
that's sweet, dude. You should put that up in your background. for whenever you do camera on stream. You got the American flag, put that right there.
Yeah,
Heck
but
yeah.
but yeah, that's I kept the plates. The plates and the wheels are about the only thing I have left of that vehicle because it got towed away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some hooligans, which I think may or may not be my neighbors still.
Mm-hmm.
I think they decided they were going to steal it one night, and because it was it was not running right, and
Mm-hmm.
I was actually trying to sell it, but I was having title issues, getting the title. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so after it's sitting in my parking space for a while, I guess they thought that it would be safe to, try and make off with it. And they tore apart the steering column, and yanked out the freaking ignition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they were gonna try and do whatever they do, right?
Hotwire it
Well,
without knowing
that,
what they're
I
doing.
guess that didn't work, and they ripped they ripped off the steering wheel. Okay,
How are you gonna
when
drive
I
it?
found out it had been burglarized, and this is a different car than the one that got
Oh man.
that the laptop got stolen out of. This is my my 1 year older car, that I had bought in New Hampshire and drove cross country.
Mm.
Um, but anyway, when I found this out, I was actually I was showing it to a guy trying to sell it, and that's when I discovered it had been busted into,
Mm.
right? And so yeah, they tore apart and then the steering column and the ignition, ripped the steering wheel off.
Man.
The uh I had taken the stereo out of the console
Mm-hmm.
prior, but they looked like they tried, freaking, I don't know if they tried taking the damn air conditioning, fucking panel or whatnot. I don't know. They were just, but and here's I swear they were freaking on meth or some shit. But anyway,
Yeah, sounds
um,
like it.
they fucking tweaking on something. They had to have been,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're
because
trying to get the free
you know
on.
how there's the trunk and the gas flap lever, next
Yeah.
to the driver's seat, right?
Yeah.
Well, these idiots, they must not have thought about that, because the trunk lid, right? The trunk lid. Apparently, they had tried to freaking pry the damn trunk lid open, because the two bolts on the right hand side that hold the trunk lid on were gone
Mm-hmm.
out of the hinge. So
Mm-hmm.
that, like, you could, like, sit there and lift up the passenger side of the freaking trunk lid, right?
They
So
even
they
tried to get into the
they
trunk to crawl into the car. I've
well, they anyway, they either that, or they were looking to see what was in the trunk they could steal.
yeah.
But anyway, I guess after they figured out that the car was like dead as a doornail and it wasn't going anywhere, they popped the hood. And so, Hondas, or at least mine, the it was a coil on plug type of car. So
Mm-hmm.
each spark plug has its own ignition coil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes straight through the valve cover, and there's like a tunnel, right? Whatever. And a grommet and stuff, it sits on
Mm-hmm.
top of that tunnel so the oil doesn't get in there,
Yeah.
anyway. So there's, a coil, for each spark plug. And so they stole the ignition coils off of it, which are, they're like 40-50 bucks a piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I couldn't move the damn thing. And with having difficulties in acquiring the title,
Mm-hmm.
because people don't like to buy a car without a title.
Yeah.
The apartment complex got finally got frustrated with me and towed the vehicle away.
Man.
But so there's that story. But anyway, we are almost 15 minutes past,
Yeah.
and you know, I don't want to keep anybody from tuning into the other show. You know, especially seeing as how you know, I appropriated, you know, the name.
Yeah.
uh, so anyway, thank you for tuning in. And go ahead on over to Comics Division and you know, give them some watch time. Tell them I sent you, and we'll probably try and talk about the same stuff we were gonna try and talk about today next week. But until then, an old nautical saying: fair winds and following seas. Take care, everyone.
Bye.